see what it is. You see what it is. This particular episode is N.B.A. dedicated to the N.B.A. Everybody say it, N.B.A., but N.B.A. stands for nothing but appreciation. Nothing but appreciation. Nothing but appreciation. Now, it took a lot of preparation for this particular one because we all know what players do when they hit the floor. The New York Knicks won the N.B.A. Championship recently, and the people who often don't get the appreciation is the coaches. The NBA coach, two-time NBA Coach of the Year, Mike Brown. So today we're going to talk about a few points that are connected to nothing but appreciation. Nothing but appreciation. Now, the reason it's on Mike Brown, because Mike Brown, if you do the research like I did, he had what you would call a slow start. A slow start. Everybody say slow start. Slow start. And what I mean when I say slow start, Mike Brown never played in the NBA. He never played in the NBA. He graduated in 1992 from University of San Diego after only playing there 2 years. And he averaged around 8 points, 3 rebounds, and he never made the NBA. Honestly, with those stats, NBA was not in his resume. And he had to start at a community college and play there 2 years before he even got the opportunity to play at the university level. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Slow start. Didn't play NBA. But he was a hard worker. And what he did was he got now it's not a great job, but it's a job. He got a job being a person who does the video for the Denver Nuggets. So you're fresh out of college, you're breaking down video. You're taping the game, you know what I mean, for the franchise. Maybe you're breaking down a little bit of film, but truth be told, you're probably just a cameraman. Now he stayed there from 1992 to 1997. Now, in that 5-year stint, we're talking about a half a decade, people. In that 5-year stint, he got promoted to scouting team. Okay, so this is still a slow start. This is far from head coach. You played for 4 years, started at a community college. You start taping games as a video person for the Denver Nuggets. You're working real hard, but you're able to show that you have a love for the game. A lot of people don't have a love for what they do, and that's why, honestly, they are miserable. They're miserable because they don't have a love for what they do, and they're not dedicated to the journey. And he was dedicated to the journey. So that's number one. Don't give up because you have a slow start. Because we're not even to where he got to be an actual NBA coach. So I'll fast forward. It took him 13 years. It took him 13 years to become a head NBA coach. Now, this isn't he coached college and then he never coached college. He had to stay in the NBA system doing all these odd jobs, videoing the game, scout on the road. I mean, again, if you're trying to start a family, you're young, all of this has to be balanced. You're doing that for 13 years before you get your first opportunity in 2005 to coach LeBron James. Now, LeBron James, we know this is Cleveland. Cleveland is not exactly known for its basketball prowess at this time. So you got a young LeBron James. Yes, it's a great opportunity, but we all know what LeBron James did later. He left Cleveland. Because he needed to figure out how to become a champion. So again, this is still a very slow start. Yes, you're a head NBA coach, but you haven't really figured out how to win. But he didn't quit, and that's number two. He didn't quit. He stayed committed to the journey and committed to consistency. A lot of times we decommit based on feeling like you're supposed to get commitment in return. Well, you're not always going to get that. You're not always going to get that commitment in return that you're looking for, because you have to be committed to consistency. So this is what Mike Brown did. And when I tell you he was committed to consistency, there's a lot of assistant coach stints that people don't know that he took after getting fired. He got fired. He got fired in L.A. He had a stint in L.A. before he got back to the head coach position with the Knicks. He had a stint with the Golden State Warriors, not once but twice. Okay, in 1997, 1998, he was there before Steph got there, and they only won 19 games when he was assistant there. 19 games. Okay. But did he give up and quit? That was on the way to his first head coaching position. But you got to think about how horrible it is in an 82-game season to only win 19 games, and you have to be committed to coming to work knowing 3/4 of the time you're going to lose. And these losses are going to be embarrassing. Yeah, you're not the head coach, but you're being told what to do, and all you're really doing is assisting them through this time period where they're pretty much known for losing. But that consistency made an opportunity for him later on, because he had a relationship. He had a relationship with Golden State. So when he didn't have a head coach position, he went back in 16. Once he had got fired, 16 to 22, he had an assistant coach position underneath the legendary Hall of Fame Steve Kerr. And it was because he went through that period of staying committed to a team that was absolutely atrocious. So it was a slow start. That 13-year slow start paved the way for when he got fired, for them to remember how dedicated he was when it was horrible, absolutely horrible as an assistant. So guess what? He could come back to be an assistant, and now you got championship rings with Steve Kerr because of the suffering that you elected to go through and you stayed committed to along the journey. See, you don't get to determine what you go through. You only get to determine how hard you're willing to work while you're going. And that's the fourth point. When we start looking at these stints, he had some horrible teams he played with. Another one with the Cavs, 33-49. With the Kings, got fired from that job. 22-60. Because it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. And what are you going to do? What are you going to be known for when it's that bad? Are you committed to consistency? So again, legendary career, because he's done it. Coach of the Year, multiple different decades, weathered the storm, and that storm was a horrendous storm. You saw some of these records, and that historic comeback from behind 29-point victory. The reason why he was able to do that is because of the commitment to defense and consistency, and doing it one play at a time, not overwhelming the players, holding people accountable, but being a consistent hard worker for 30 years plus. This is how you get to the other side. If you're not willing to endure, number one, the slow start. Number two, not quit. Number three, be committed to consistency. You're still a hard worker and show up when it's absolutely ridiculously atrocious. When you get fired, do you still have an ability to maintain an optimistic outlook for yourself? You may not be able to have an optimistic outlook for where you're leaving, but you can choose an optimistic outlook based upon how hard you're willing to work. Because in the end, they don't measure you by year 5, year 10, year 15. They measure you by what happened in that time frame and how many times were you able to show that you're doing whatever you're doing at a high level. And that's going to be sometimes ups and downs. So I'm not going to hold you too much longer because I've given up on doing everything in 5 minutes because we can't get accomplished what we need to understand mental health being the new wealth. Again, this is somebody who makes millions of dollars as a coach. You can look it up. But you're not always going to make that millions of dollars through the whole 30. Okay, I'm sure he wasn't making millions of dollars when he was a video assistant. I'm sure he wasn't making millions of dollars once he lost his job and had to go through those ups and downs with those different franchises. He had to weather the storm. He had to weather the storm, and he appreciated the journey. Learn to appreciate the journey. There's people out there who are not happy with where they are. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm one of them. But I'm going to continue on with the journey because at the end of the journey, you have these points where as long as you keep going and you keep moving forward and you start to try to have a positive outlook when you're in these 19 and 60 situations and you're known for working hard and you can maintain positive relationships with people even though you may not feel like it, the results are measured at the end. The results are not measured in the middle. So y'all make sure y'all keep going. Mental health is the new wealth. Make sure you got your mindset right. Those people who got a negative mindset, you got to put them somewhere else. I'm not saying drop them, but you got to put them somewhere else. You got to deprioritize them because negative people rarely get positive results.